Share with you. Okay, today I would like to share with you about mystery, either mystery number or mystery location, and how these can be used in your classroom. And I will share out these slides with you so that you do not have to create them yourselves. You could print off the slide, and then that way your students would have something to also record, which is a very important piece of this, to show it, and then for them to have their own papers to be marking off either the numbers or the locations. So as we go through, I want to show you the mystery number, and the kids all have a 100 number chart. And if you want to use this, I have two bars over here that you could use to cover up rows or columns that kids have asked about. What happens here is that you want the kids to ask you a question that you answer yes or no to. Now, one of the purposes of doing a mystery number is that they are wanting to improve their learning by using vocabulary. So think about the math terms that you are learning about in your classroom. For younger grades, it could be, does it have a 2 in the ones place? Does it have a 3 in the tens place? It could be about place value. It could be how many digits. Is it a single digit, a double digit, or does it have 3 digits? As you get older, you can talk about multiples. Is it a multiple of 5? Is it divisible by 7? You could go through and ask those questions. Is it a prime number? Anything that you can answer yes or no. As they ask, you would respond, and then you could ask them, what should we mark off on our chart? And have them also help you. If they struggle, they could ask a friend, or you could just say, I think we would need to mark these off. And again, these bars off to the side, you could use to place over the numbers that they have that aren't going to be the correct answer. And then at their seat, they are coloring in those same things. As we move on, we can start off basically maybe at lower levels with continents and oceans, and you could come up with a mystery continent. And the kids could ask you, is it east of the Atlantic Ocean? And yes or no. And then you can mark off the ones that you know it is not. What you're trying to do is to narrow it down. Now, I discourage kids from asking, can I just guess it? We want to get away from that until we pretty much have it narrowed down to maybe 2, possibly 3 choices. And then I might say, yes, you could just guess. But I really want them to try and ask more questions, because that's also working on that questioning skill, putting into words what they are thinking and making them focus on it has to be answered with a yes or a no. I included in this map in the equator, because then you could talk about, is it north of the equator, south of the equator? So different questions that they could choose. I then think that it would be logical to go on and ask about, more important, I shouldn't say more important, but, broaden your map a little more if you like the color better. Going from there to, let's see if it'll let me open it up, a United States map. Where now, this was a map I used in 2nd grade. I had put the regions of the United States. I also labeled major rivers. And I have our compass rose, which you can add to any of these on the other slides. And again, we want them to ask questions that are going to narrow it down. Now, sometimes in the younger grades, they'll ask, is it one word state or a 2-word state? Is it in the Great Plains region of the country? And that just lets them see where are the Great Plains? What states are considered in the Great Plains? They could ask, is it south of the Missouri River? Does it border the Colorado River? Okay, so you can ask all kinds of questions here. Sometimes I would even get, as we would narrow it down, and there would be, maybe 6 states left. Does it have so many letters in it? Does it begin with a vowel? Does it begin with a consonant? So I accept pretty much any question, especially at the younger level. As you get older and you've been working on more specific terminology, you might tell them you want them to use these words that you're working on. At that rate, if you've been talking about longitude and latitude, you could also find a video or a map that has those lines also present that would help you out. All right. So again, why do we do mystery numbers or locations? Well, it helps to develop that logical thinking and reasoning skills that we're working on. It helps to improve our vocabulary that we're working on, either in math or social studies. It builds teamwork because as a class, they're trying to solve it. You can even do competitions if you want. You could set the timer. How long does it take this week? Well, you want to try and get it quicker next week. You could say, well, we want to try and get it solved by only asking 5 questions this week versus maybe you did 8 questions the week before. You might do, we want to get this with without any repeated questions. So you're working on, are they paying attention? Have they listened to those other questions? So it builds teamwork. And I tell you, it is just a lot of fun. The kids think it is fun. And so why not? They're learning a lot while you are doing this simple activity that might take you 10 or 15 minutes. As you get better at it, it's not going to take nearly as long. So I hope you and your students have a good time working with mystery numbers or locations.